You're watching NASA TV.
RAM2 up. And the pressure 5.
Good morning from Mission Control Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room. At this hour, flight controllers here are preparing to join their Russian counterparts in support of the first spacewalk of the year out of the International Space Station, a spacewalk by 2 Russian cosmonauts to begin the intricate outfitting of the recently arrived Prishal node module on the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov are currently suiting up inside the Poisk module airlock on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. They were assisted in climbing into their Russian Orlan spacesuits by NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei about an hour ago, and the Poisk airlock is in the process of being depressurized to vacuum.
Russian Spacewalk 51 will be conducted by Anton Shkaplerov, EV-1 in the red stripes, and Pyotr Dubrov, EV-2 in the blue stripes. After egressing from Poisk with the EVA bundle, EV-1 will translate to the Strela operator's post, where he'll maneuver EV-2 to the Nauka module, also known as MLM. EV-1 will egress the operator's post and translate the EVA bundle nadir to EV-2. Both crew will translate along the Nauka handrails to the newly installed Russian node module, where they'll be performing most of their work for the spacewalk. When they arrive at the node module, crew will split the EVA bundle and work to install the first shortcut handrail. After, EV-2 will translate to connector patch panel 26. EV-1 will place the course P cables and cable clamps and hand the connectors to EV-2 for mating. After handing off the course P cables, Anton will mate patch panel 2 connectors 1, 2, and 3 to the unused connector panel. They'll then mate patch panel 1 course P cables. Anton will then move on to install AR-VKA, and Pyotr will install AO-VKA. These are 2 antennas located on the nadir side of the node module. EV-1 then translate to the Nauka node interface, where he'll mate and route the TV cable between the 2 modules. Meanwhile, Pyotr will remove the TV camera from its current port. Anton then translates to the nadir side of the node, where he'll install the docking monitoring target and docking target for future visiting vehicles. Pyotr will complete the reinstallation of the TV camera at its new location. EV-1 starts the first round of jettisons with 2 empty containers and the AO-VKA antenna cover. Meanwhile, Russian ground personnel will perform a course hardware test and a TV camera connectivity checkout. After Anton is complete with the jettison, he'll proceed to remove a floodlight from the node module. Pyotr will continue installing additional load limiters, which help with spacewalk hook operations. Both will meet back up to install another shortcut handrail. They'll then work together to remove 3 antennas that are no longer needed. These antennas will be strategically tossed overboard in the station aft direction. This will be the second and final round of jettisons. Crew will then perform inventories of their tools and begin translating back up Nauka and Strela. They'll arrive back at the airlock on the Poisk module. This is where they'll stow the remaining hardware, finishing Russian Spacewalk 51 with crew ingress and hatch closure.
Так,
I took both tether hooks out. I am egressing. Copy. I am outside. I do see the Strela boom. And let me check the translation path. And guys, we have a go to turn on your helmet camera.
And this is Mission Control Houston. The Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov have provided the official start time for today's spacewalk at 6:17 and 31 seconds a.m. Central Time, 6:17 and 31 seconds Central Time. The 246th spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades underway. And you see outside the hatch of the Poisk airlock, Pyotr Dubrov, EV2, or extravehicular crew member number 2. He has emerged along with equipment that he will take down the length of the Strela boom that is in the foreground just in front of him, all the way down to the Prishal module, which is mated to the nadir or Earth-facing port of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module.
Right. I have managed to get under and past the Strela boom. Good job. And I'm prepping the bundle for now. Right, and let me secure myself here a little bit. And I have the bundle secured now. And I'm also holding it for now. Great, I have it secured. Wonderful. Anton, I'm turning the bundle around. Here is the French hook. And we need to kind of stretch it a little bit so that it's sitting tightly.
Anton, Piotr.
Anton, Piotr. Go ahead.
Когда будет там возможность,
when you get a chance, could you please make sure that the switch for the heating and cooling of the suits is in the neutral position when you get a chance, of course. Okay, I am turning on Esther number 2 and the hot, cold.
And all of the various pieces of hardware that they'll be using to install handrails, communications cables, removing thermal insulation, installing antennas, and docking targets on the Prishal module. This is the focus of attention to bring Prishal into a ready state and to integrate it into the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Now the view from Pyotr Dubrov's helmet camera, Dubrov and the 4th spacewalk of his career.
Go ahead, Moscow. What about the thermal system? How do you feel? Maybe should put it into mode 2? You mean make it cooler? No, I think I'm fine. All right. Then leave it as is. If you feel too warm,
And now a view
then you
down the length of the NAOCA multipurpose laboratory module that arrived at the station back in July. And at the top of your screen, there is Prishal, that was launched on a Soyuz 2.1B rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on November 24th, arriving for its automated docking to NAOCA on November 26th. That is where Dubrov and Shkaplerov will be working throughout the course of the day. You see at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, Pyotr Dubrov once again working with the so-called EVA bundle. That's the bundle of equipment that he will be bringing down the length of NAOCA to Prishal, where all of the work for today's spacewalk will be conducted as we approach the 1-hour mark into today's excursion.
Well, maybe it will be useful for those people who will come after us, who will have an EVA after us. It will be useful information for them. Here.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour 36 minutes into today's spacewalk.
Right.
A close-up view of the Prishal node module, 16 feet long, 8.5 feet in diameter, a 5-ton component of the International Space Station that was launched last November and automatically docked, as you see there, to the Earth-facing port of the multipurpose laboratory module, the NAOCA module.
So for the cable clamp,
Prishal has 5 docking ports that will be utilized for approaching Russian visiting vehicles, the first of which scheduled to arrive at Prishal for a docking in March, the Soyuz MS-21 vehicle carrying 3 Russian cosmonauts who will be part of the Expedition 67 crew.
And now I need to twist it, right? Yes, and you need to...
Anton Shkaplerov in his 3rd spacewalk of his career and Pyotr Dubrov in the 4th spacewalk of his career are about to begin the process of installing handrail limiters. These are devices designed to prevent tether hooks from getting caught on handrails. They also will be installing handrails on Prishal and removing thermal insulation from existing handrails on the node module.
Yes. Then now you can verify that the retainer for that hook is also... So if you take the cable clamp, press the button, lift it up a little bit, you can rotate it in any direction. And then, nope, the button doesn't want to be pressed and not cooperating. So maybe I twisted it a little bit too hard. And I am ready, this is Piotr, to install the cable clamp on the 7661. Well, now this button is just floating out from its nest. Is it like literally it's not sitting there at all? No, it's just like floating out. Maybe you just tightened it too much. Okay, now I need to make sure that we don't lose it then.
I arrived at a very fortunate location. So which plates do you have under your hand? FEPA 2 is the one I need right now. FEPA 1 as well. I'm moving to FEPA 1. 7351 is the handrail. Yes, it is closer to the MLM. Yes, you will need to translate along this radial handrail. You're holding on to it with your right hand. Did you pick up those cables? Oh, you didn't remove them. I thought you have them already. Okay. I am glad you reminded me right now. So I'm going to pick them up. I thought you removed them and started translating with them. I had that thought to do that, but I tried to reach up from where I am and I couldn't reach them. I secured them on the retractable feather. So I'm removing the cable ties or wire ties. Unintelligible. Okay, this is a great shot. Yes, I'm taking a shot of you. Piotr, are you waiting for me? I need to translate to the bundle. I wonder if I will be able to circumvent you, so to say, get around you. Well, I can move around. I move away because I have completed my activity here. All right, that's great. So in order to deactivate it, what should I do? You should push it down and wait about 3 seconds. Okay. All right, now I'm moving away, Piotr, for you. Okay, so you should translate to the bundle. Yes, that's correct. And you did not disassemble the bundle, right? Well, then I won't be able to get the antenna right away. I will need to think of something. All right, so you go there, and I will remate the connector. So are we on time, Vladimir? So the EVA elapsed time is 2.5 hours. Okay. So I am near the FP2, patch panel 2. So we're a little bit behind the timeline, but it's all acceptable. Unintelligible. Okay, so I've approached the FP2 panel. This is Anton. Copy.
everything is stitched here. So I have opened connectors 4, 5, 6, and I will remate connectors. Yes, connectors 1, 2, 3. You will have to remate 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm removing the first one. Yes, it's all good. Anton?
2 hours, 27 minutes into the spacewalk, Shkaplerov and Dubrov basically on the timeline for the day as they are demating and remating a series of cable connectors associated with the Corps' automated rendezvous system for the Prishal node module, to which future Russian visiting vehicles will dock, the first of which scheduled on March 18th, the Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft that will carry 3 Russian cosmonauts to become part of the Expedition 67 crew. A short time from now, they'll be installing and mating an antenna, a new Corps antenna, to the interface between the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module and Prishal, part of the work that's ongoing to install handrails, docking targets, and communications gear to integrate Prishal into the Russian segment of the International Space Station.
Okay, so the satellite tether is on the tool carrier. Secured, and I will have to somehow get to antenna. Unintelligible. Getting dark. All right, secured to the handrail. Copy.
I have turned off the U.S. headlights. Lights. We don't need them for now. And we'll try and save our battery charges a little bit. Anton, how are you doing? All right, I have connected the cable, and I would like to tie it here once I drag it through there. Sounds good. Wow. Moscow, you are coming in so clear now. Okay, and which handrail should I drag the cable under? The one that's going to the MLM module. Copy.
Oh, okay. I can't do it there. So the lid needs to be facing away from Earth. We need to remove the lid, and then later, maybe we can do a fit check right now. Okay, that's great. Should I slacken the rat a little bit? So I can turn it off from my side, from FEPA 6. So we can probably reattach rats. Because it's in the way. Okay, I will try to install it here.
This is Mission Control Houston, approaching the 3.5-hour mark into today's spacewalk. You can see a great view as we enter an orbital sunrise over the South Pacific of Anton Shkaplerov, the Expedition 66 commander, on the right, Pyotr Dubrov, Roscosmos flight engineer, on the left, as they continue to hook up cables to connector panels on the Prishal node module that is at the Earth-facing port of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module. This Prishal node module, with 5 docking ports, will be the port of arrival for future Russian visiting vehicles, starting with the Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft in March.
Yes, we just need to make sure.
Handrails, Core's automated rendezvous equipment, docking targets, and other associated hardware to bring Prishal into full activated mode are the subject of today's spacewalk, the first of the year out of the International Space Station, and the 246th in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades that began in December of 1998.
And then we'll just have to turn it around. So do you want to secure the rat to the handle? Yes, the tether over here. Just to loosen it a little. Here we go. Okay, I hooked it to it. You can remove it again. Except that here I see that the connector for the antenna is missing labeling. Well, we'll find it eventually. Okay, secure the lid. Do you have anything to secure it with, or should I do it? Well, anchor hooks.
Piotr, this is Moscow.
Да, на связи.
Go ahead.
Сейчас приводишь все в нормальное положение.
So you will put everything in the nominal position, check the wire ties,
Фалы.
the tethers.
И на всякий случай сдерни, наверное, попробуй чехол, несмотря на то, что он пришит.
And just in case, try to remove the cover. Although it is stitched, we understand. But maybe, you will be strong enough and be able to remove it.
Сейчас попробую.
Well, I will try.
Есть опыт силового
Of
воздействия.
course, I have some experience of applying a physical effort to some structure elements, so I will do my best.
Лишний раз его применять.
I don't want to overdo it.
This is Mission Control Houston, 4.5 hours into today's spacewalk by Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov. The two cosmonauts continuing to work through their timeline for a spacewalk expected to last over 6 hours and 40 minutes today as they continue to outfit and integrate the recently arrived Prishal node module into the Russian segment of the International Space Station. The two cosmonauts have installed handrails, removed thermal insulation from those handrails on Prishal to facilitate future spacewalking activities on the node module and in the vicinity of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module. They also installed cables for the Core's automated rendezvous system on the multipurpose laboratory module, as well as a pair of Core's automated rendezvous antennas. Those were tested and checked out and found to be in good shape. The two cosmonauts are currently in the process of installing a television cable to provide TV capability between Prishal and Naoka, and soon will be installing docking targets on the node module itself.
Just as you were opening them up, well, and then I'm falling into Anton's steps and just picking everything up and like. Anton, this is Moscow. One more time. Tell me, why do you think it didn't install correctly? Well, because of the latch. I think it's okay. Are you getting the video? No, not yet. But it seemed to us that it was fine. The last image that we got seems like everything was fine. And it's just as sitting reliably as the other antennas. Well, I'm not sure. Anton? It has 3 or 2 positions. Only two positions to install it. No, only two positions to install the antenna. Oh, and the retainer also has only two positions, left and right. And it doesn't matter which side you take. Well, I didn't manage to see what the markings, which side is which. So I didn't get a chance to see it. So. Can I hook onto this end of the antenna? Yes, you can. Okay, here. I removed the MLI on this side and gathered it up and placed it in the trash bag. Okay, copy. In order to remove it, should I just unwind the Velcro? I think there was another MLI. So did you remove it at the very? You did remove it at the very beginning of the EVA. At one location, I removed horizontal MLI and then the vertical handrail. I don't think I removed the MLI from there. You don't think so? No. Whatever. What should I do with the target? Is it in the way? Yes. There's a handle on the other side. Okay. Go ahead. You did remove the screws, right? On the back side, take a look. On the container, take a look. Okay, I got it. I just need to turn it around. Yes, it worked. Thank you. Okay. Thank goodness. So it goes out and then it looks like it hits something. Or do I need to lift it? Can you tell me if the trigger is up? I think so. Okay, then to the left and sideways. One more time. Further. Anton? Also in the opposite direction to the sideways. And the other opposite direction is where? How does the lock work? I think it sunk. I see in this position it should sink in this lock and then you need to move it to a click. It just wouldn't go. Okay, here it's moved. Don't touch that part. So I shouldn't move it to the other position? No.
Try to move left and right. No, I think it's well seated. I think it looks good now. So it's not reaching up all the way up. So I think it looks normal. Okay, thank you. I think it is set. Thank you. When you remove the hook, please insert the tether back in there. Vadim, what about the lighting unit? Is there any wire tie that needs to be cut? So you're saying you don't want to pull out the cutter twice? No, there's nothing there. Okay, that's good. So I cut 3 wire ties on the camera. There's one thing that's secured with bolts. I couldn't quite see whether I'm going to pull it out. I was able to cut it off, but it's still secured with bolts. Yes, you need to remove the bolts in order to fully remove it. Can you see? Is it looking good? See what? I put the lock pin back inside. Is it looking normal? Yes. So if you can move the camera so we can see the target a little bit more. This way? Further back. This way. So I pushed it off.
This is Mission Control Houston, 5 hours, 10 minutes into today's spacewalk. The first item to be jettisoned on today's spacewalk.
Separating in the
An empty container has been tossed overboard. This is the first of several items to be jettisoned by the 2 cosmonauts outside the Prishal node module. Meanwhile, all of the other tasks for today's EVA have been successfully completed up to this point. All of the cables for the Core's automated rendezvous system on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module have been connected. Core's antennas have been installed. Docking targets on the Prishal module have been installed. A television cable to provide inter-module connectivity between Prishal and Naoka was also installed, and the crew is in the process of completing work to relocate a TV camera on Prishal from one port to another. There will be several other items that are expected to be jettisoned retrograde from the International Space Station. The plan had called for the jettisoning of an antenna cover, 2 empty containers, and some other hardware no longer needed on board the International Space Station for today's spacewalk.
Anton, Moscow, go ahead. So you have completed with the connectors, right? You know, not yet. Of course, everything is too close here, not easy to access. So we are standing by for your report. I cannot see very well here.
Да, здесь есть риск, что чехол будет вылетать на мишень.
You know, there is a risk that the cover could cover part of the target, just cover it partially a little bit.
Так, занял позицию, готов запустить.
I'm in position, ready to do the lead. Okay, I'm ready to eject.
Как слышно?
Go ahead. So antenna cover is flying. It is flying now.
And as you can see on the left side of your screen, the second item has been jettisoned, that being an antenna cover from one of the Corps' automated rendezvous antennas installed earlier on the Prishal module to facilitate the automatic rendezvous and dockings for future Russian visiting vehicles. Two items now have been jettisoned by Shkaplerov and Dubrov.
Позицию занял.
I'm in position.
Готов подтолкнуть.
Ready to push the container.
Пошел. В нужном направлении.
It is in work, right direction, right trajectory. Perfect.
Так, контейнерный закончил.
Done with the containers. What's next?
And the third item now has been jettisoned, that being an antenna container.
Already told Piotr.
So in all, three items have now been jettisoned by the two cosmonauts, retrograde from the space station, the ballistics analysis indicating no chance for recontact by any of these objects.
And make sure that they're not wiggling in between the handrails. Take your KPU, your bag. Also secure those with wire ties. Okay, I'm taking everything.
Russian flight controllers have provided a big picture as to where we're headed with today's spacewalk by Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov, indicating that they expect the crew to remain outside for about another hour as they evaluate some of the other tasks on tap. There are additional handrails that may or may not be installed. If they're not installed on the Prishal module, they will be tied down for installation on a future spacewalk. There will be no more removal of other antennas no longer needed on Prishal that were earmarked for jettisoning today. So three items have been jettisoned, no more jettisons on tap by the two cosmonauts for the day today. All other tasks have been completed. The cable routing and connecting of Corps' automated rendezvous antennas and docking targets, the installation of a television cable between Prishal and the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module, and the relocation of a television camera on Prishal from one port to another. Prishal is now fully available for docking support for future Russian visiting vehicles, the first of which is expected to occur in March with the arrival of the Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft with three cosmonauts on board who will become members of the Expedition 67 crew. Once the two cosmonauts make their way back up the Strela boom to the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the station and re-enter Poisk's airlock, they will close the hatch. That will signify the end of today's spacewalk by its official elapsed time. Mark Vandehei will be waiting on the other side of the hatch on the Russian segment to assist Shkaplerov and Dubrov in getting out of their Orlan spacesuits once the Poisk airlock has been repressurized. Again, we're expecting somewhere near another hour for today's spacewalk. It will take that much time to clean up the work site. We're still standing by to see whether or not additional handrails may or may not be installed. If they're not, they'll be tied down for installation on a future spacewalk. And it will take some time for the two cosmonauts to make their way back to the Poisk module, collecting their tools and tethers and ensuring that they have all the equipment that they'll bring back inside the Poisk airlock. Once Shkaplerov and Dubrov are complete with this tie-down of two additional handrails that will again be installed on the next spacewalk that the Russians have planned, and they have a number of spacewalks on the books for the remainder of the year that will continue the outfitting of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module, including the preparation of a European robotic arm for its installation, the installation of that arm and its functional checkout and deployment during an upcoming spacewalk in the spring, and then the relocation and deployment of a radiator on the multipurpose laboratory module, the activation of Naoka's airlock that will provide two airlocks from which Russian spacewalks can be conducted, the relocation of a portable workstation outside of Naoka, and the installation of a large object attachment system, basically for payload work, the Naoka serving a dual role, not only as an airlock for future Russian spacewalks, but also as a laboratory for future scientific research. It is one of the largest modules to arrive at the International Space Station, launched this past summer from Baikonur on a Russian Proton rocket.
Так. Что ты предлагаешь?
Okay, well, what would be your suggestions? What do you recommend?
Так, откидываю.
Now I am jettisoning it right now. Yes, we can see it moving away.
Так, ждем ваши команды.
And another towel has been jettisoned by the two cosmonauts. As they explained, these are towels that were used to wipe down each other's suits, standard operating procedure, jettisoned retrograde from the station to ensure no chance for recontact with the complex.
Peter, you remember there were two reds right in the center here.
Так, значит, и вот тут, ага, пока.
Over there. Yes, one where you have wire tie on.
Не запутался просто.
Okay, so, and the other one small.
A good view of Pyotr Dubrov from the helmet camera of Anton Shkaplerov. Dubrov wrapping up the fourth spacewalk of his career. He and Shkaplerov and NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei are earmarked for a return to Earth on March 30th on the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft that is docked to the Rassvet module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. For Dubrov and Vande Hei, that will wrap up a 355-day mission in space. For Vande Hei, it will mark the longest U.S. spaceflight by an American astronaut, single spaceflight in history. He will surpass the existing mark of 340 days in space for a single spaceflight set by Scott Kelly. That mark will be eclipsed by Vande Hei on March 15th.
It should have
Сюда вот проволочный фиксатор.
Wire tie here.
И снятые чеки.
And also the lock pins or quarter pins from the camera.
Плюс один файл впереди.
Also one tether that is retractable.
Вроде все, ничего.
I think that's it. I don't think I've missed anything. Copy, Piotr. And you have safety tether, American safety tether on the KPU. Correct, yes. This safety, American safety tether, real or peanut tether is on KPO. Copy all. Now it's a go to Ingress in Emerald 2. Minutes, copy, just 4 minutes short. To 8 hours. Yeah, so it would have been historical EVA. Okay, so there are these cowl cap covers flying around. Okay, I have received also the message from the cartridge, and let me double check that nothing got in between the sills